Alrighty, happy spring equinox and Ostara today, Sunday, March 20th, uh, about a quarter past 3 o'clock on the West Coast. I hope you are having a wonderful uh, Ostara Spring Equinox. This is the day when our days and nights are equal, give or take an hour or so. And on the Southern Hemisphere, as we're bringing in um, the lengthening of days and the shortening of nights. On the Southern Hemisphere, countries like Chile, Australia, Brazil, they are welcoming in the Mabon season, fall, autumn equinox. So their days are getting shorter and their nights are getting longer. So, welcome to my annual. I started doing this about a year ago, um, paying homage to the solstices and equinox um, periods, and also the Witch's Sabbat, which takes place on this day as well for Ostara. We are also bringing in the new year astrologically in the sign of Aries. So that is all happening today. So a lot of wonderful energy. Energy starts increasing. We start feeling more motivated, hopefully, inspired, hopefully, to move forward and to set our intentions and to um, follow through with them. Spring season is the time that we start uh, being more outwardly expressive with ourselves, the way that we communicate, the way that we present ourselves, um, how we work. Energy is moving from the inward phase of our fall, winter season to spring, summer, where things are just out. And I'm here to share with you um, some ways that we can approach this changing of the season. Now, I'm wearing a jacket. I'm up in the mountains, and we got a little bit of rain last night. And our weather, let me look here. Weather is, yeah, low 50s. It's a little chilly, but we're going to start warming up in a few days. But that's why I'm dressed like this, even on a spring day. I was able to join my neighbor for a wonderful walk, and we talked about a few different things um, about humanity, how we communicate, how we learn from each other. So it was a wonderful conversation. Also, towards the end of this live, um, I have 3 sets of cards here that I pulled specifically to commemorate um, our spring season. And our spring season welcomes in um, the months of April for Aries, May for Taurus, and then June for Gemini. So I'm not going to do the entire reading because that would be pretty long, but I will brush through some of the cards that I posted, and then I'm going to do a separate video um, and go more in depth with the readings that I have here for the months of April, May, and June to represent the spring equinox season. So that will be later on. And I also have here, it's very simple because I'm making some changes right now and I'm downsizing. So it's a tiny little altar. I got this, I think about 1 or 2 years ago at the craft store. And I was going big on hares and rabbits. And so I saw this cute little um, sort of what's the word I'm trying, distressed rabbit, and I decided let me bring this into the season for Ostara. And then here in the back, I have my smart hair. Now I was trying to rig this up to make it look like oh, what do you call those? A jackalope, but this is a split off branch from outside from the trees. So I was trying to rig it up so it looks like they have antlers, but didn't quite work out. So here's my other hair, smart hair with the glasses. Um, so just bringing in this energy. Okay, spring is, as I mentioned, our key words are of growth, um, renewal, um, new beginnings, of course. Also, the beginnings of creation. We start seeing um, like the release, like getting ready to birth, to deliver. Um, it's it tends to be a auspicious time for anyone. Hi, Sadhna. It tends to be an auspicious time for spring babies. I'm a spring baby, and so there's a lot of energy that's out there, and so we as spring babies enjoy this time of the year because we are in our waxing season. Energy's gaining. We start moving forward, and it's a wonderful time. Now, what I'm going to do is I don't have my other camera because the last time I used my camera, um, I I wanted to turn to give you a window view, and the camera disconnected, and I lost the feed. So this is completely from the computer. So let's see here. I want you to see. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna show completely, but let me open this up here. Let's get some more. That's what we want to see. So we have some clouds coming in the distance, and it's nice, but it's chilly outside. So that's why I am all cuddled up right now. Hello, Candy. Sadhna, again, thank you for coming in. So I'm going to just keep this discussion open. I'd like to know how you feel about Ostara. Actually, I'm going to close that window because this breeze just came in and it's going to get cold in here. But I'd like to know how do you feel about the spring season? Um, I can assume what the answer is, but sometimes the spring season, for some people, they're just not ready for it. They like to ease into these changes of the seasons in different ways. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this is a time of movement for some people, but it is. Hi, Deborah. How are you? Happy Ostara. This is a time, though, that we can get this motivation. This is a time not to be stuck. This is a time to start being proactive, not inactive. It is also a time for healing, um, and 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 showing the shifts that you're going through in this process. When we get more sunlight, it's a wonderful time. We feel alive for the most part, and that's the healing part of spring. We get the sun, we get the vitamin D that we need. Um, People's energy levels start changing. People who experience SAD, seasonal affectionate disorder, um, this is a time that's so important for them because they need this. It helps them get out of that depressive mood, that rut. So I'm welcoming this. This is wonderful. Even though it's chilly, the light is the most important. I could keep myself warm with clothes, but the light is very important. Um, yes, that's right, Sadhna. Leo. What's the weather like right now over there, Sadhna? We're in the low 50s over here. I don't know if you caught that. Um, and you're seating indoors. That's yes, right there, Candy. I wish I have the garden of the forest right here. So um, it's been wonderful. Some of the daffodils are starting to pop up in the neighborhood um, because our winter is a little bit shorter and not so cold. So we're starting to get the signs of daffodils popping up in some areas. I could see the sprouts, I could see the leaves coming up, but for the most part, um, They're going to start probably showing up towards the later part of March and April. And there's a patch in the neighborhood that I live in that was planted, I guess, 10, 15 years ago, by the husband whose wife had passed away. And she started a tradition of just planting daffodils in this area. And then when she passed on, her husband continued um, the process of reseeding, and now it's become a bit of a local community in that area to keep the daffodils growing. And it's a wonderful assortment of colors. You get the yellows, you get the whites, you get different shades of daffodils, and it is so wonderful. So I try every year to go in there and just take photos, but they're working in that area, so hopefully we'll get a nice bunch of them. But yeah, just nice. And when we see that obviously the color yellow, white, very light colors, and very bright. So that in turn, lightens up the mood, especially here in the mountains where it can be very cold and it can be gray. So it's wonderful to see that, and people's energy starts shifting. 6 degrees, and it held twice yesterday. Wow. Yep. 42 degrees. We're warming up this week. So, Sadhna, I'm sending some beautiful heat over to you. Apparently, we're going to get some heat down the mountain. We're going to be in the mid 70s here. So, that's pretty unusual for this time of the year. It's usually about 20 to sometimes 30 degrees cooler. So, I'm taking it. It's wonderful. Yes, flowers. My favorite flower, the rose. I just love roses. I've thought about planting roses, but since I'm not committed to this property here, I didn't want to spend lots of money and create a rose garden and then not be able to take it with me. So I've kept it. I'm going to keep it for when that time comes. If I have access to a yard and I can actually make a nice rose garden, then I will. Let's see. Candy, and my caravan reopens for the season, so I suddenly get the ocean back too. Oh, wonderful. Freesias blooms so abundant this year. I'm growing sunflowers and I think it's pronounced anemones. Anemones, Deborah. Ah, Candy, do a video if you can of your garden once it's full. I'm certain you're going to do that. But yes, so a lot of green right now, but also, as I said, some yellow starting to pop up, and we really like that too up here because it tends to be monotone. When you're in the mountains, and I'm not dissing the mountains, the beautiful environment, but it's always nice to get that splash of color. We have dogwood trees, which will probably start popping up in about April, and the dogwoods to me look like lotuses. They have, I think, 4 to 5 petals, and inside is or in the center is the bud itself. It's like a nice green bud, and it just flowers all over, and it's just so beautiful. I do wish we had a dogwood tree here because it really would break up the green that we have here so much. Let's see. Oh, you have a playlist. Okay, Candy. I'll take a look at that. As we go into spring. Got it. I figure that much after seeing your channel and seeing that you do gardening work, amongst many other skills. So I'll take a look at that. I don't want to get too caught up because then I'm going to start getting upset because I don't have a garden and I can't do all of this. But it's all wonderful. So I have a little interesting. I don't know how to say this. I'll just say it. I am trying to trap a semi-feral cat who's been coming around here for the last 2 years. It's almost. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Okay. Happy birthday to your daughter-in-law. March 20th. Happy Aries for everyone. So my predicament is the cat. The last I saw, I named him Baba. Baba's like the spit and image of my feline spirit, except bigger. He's jolly. He's not fixed. And about 2 weeks ago, he came onto the property and he was limping. And that obviously got me concerned. But when you're trying to trap an animal like that, it's very, you're working with an animal who has its own instincts and knows how to bring trust um, when it's appropriate. So I've been giving him some food. I was given a trap a few days ago, and I was so close to getting him. I started this live late because of this, because he came up to the door and I gave him some food and I was trying to motion him into the trap, but he wasn't going in. I don't want to push him in or anything like that because I don't want him to get hostile, which he probably will. But after I'm done doing this live, I'm going to see if he's going to still be outside and take care of this. So there's quite a few wild animals here, but this one in particular comes here and likes to kind of chase spirit. Spirit's indoor outdoor cat in the daytime. So I'm being very cautious, and he has to be without food or water for 12 hours because I want to try and get him fixed. There's a local humane society up here in the mountains that I contacted. They said that they'd be happy to donate some money towards getting him fixed. But the first thing I need to do is trap him, and I don't want to stress him out. So wish me luck with that for Baba. And I want it to be a natural transition so that if he gets fixed, hopefully his paw will get looked at. He seems to be getting better. And then what I want to do is once he's fixed, probably release him back out here because I cannot have two cats or any cats on this property. So that's my instead of chasing rabbits and other fae here in the mountains, I'm trying to I'm trying to trap a cat. So crossing my fingers with that for Baba. Um, and thank you, Candy. Yeah, he's breaking my heart because I can't really bring him in, but if I can help him out somehow, I will do my best. So anyhow, for people who are slowly joining in, my name's Amy. I go by the name of the Mystic Rose Tarot. Um, there'll be some tangents. Hi, Kelly Lily. There'll be some tangents here and there, but specifically the premise of this video is to discuss spring. What we have plans to do, what changes do we want to do now versus last year and the previous year. Okay. I know globally, everyone knows what's going on right now. And it seems to be almost nonstop the last 3 years. It's like, when can we get a break when there's something that isn't so hard hitting globally? And that's virtually impossible because we have the news. The news is nothing good. It's very distressing for a lot of people. I don't even watch the news. I pop in every now and then, and I have to just read the first few headlines. I'm like, that's it. That's all I need to know. So I'm not saying that I'm trying to neglect world affairs, but I think also there's a time that you can only handle and take in so much while you're also taking care of yourself, and you don't want too much of outside world energy coming in and affecting you even more so. So I catch up maybe 3 times a month, in all honesty, because that's all I need to know. And everything else is how I process that energy for healing, for well-being and hope, and send the best out for those who are struggling, who are having a hard time. My heart and love, as well as most of the people here globally, goes out to the Ukraine. Okay. And it's awful. And that's all I'm going to say. Okay, so my heart's there with you. So, with that being set aside, I like to hear if you could share in the comments. And again, I have some cards here that are pulled. I'm going to light these 3 candles too. I got my pink, I got my yellow, because I'm downsizing everything right now. That's why you see some boxes here in the background, and I'm going to make an announcement in the coming weeks about some changes. So this is how I'm going to start spring. Okay, I already did a little bit of a fire meditation last night with the fireplace right over there. Brianne, love, how are you? So what I like everyone to do as people slowly come in and they watch this. I know these candles are small because they're chime candles, but I like to ask a favor. Will all of you, if you feel comfortable, can you type in the one thing that is of great importance for you that you want to manifest this year? Okay. If you could type it in, it could be one word or a few words. What you want to manifest. I shouldn't say this year, but for the spring season. Well, yeah, also for the year, because that's a commitment that you're making to yourself. Okay. If you could type that in there, and I'll wait a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more. What you want that is so important for you to start this season of Aries, Ostara, abundance, birth, regrowth, regeneration, healing, releasing. Type it in there. And then as they come in, what I want to do is I want to light a candle, okay, for all of these intentions. Okay. All right, Candy, health and improved fitness. Okay. So make that promise to yourself. Okay. The sign of Aries is that cardinal sign. So they're the ones that get that energy moving forward. Okay. You're making that commitment to yourself to start doing these things. Okay. Stay true to it. And then my next live will be Beltane, which will be May Day, May 1st. Okay. And then come summer, I am going, hello, Michelle Marie, how are you? And then come summer, I'm going to ask that question again. So for those who are watching this and you state what is most important for you as we start the spring season, to type it in, okay, if you feel comfortable. And I'm going to light a candle for all of this, okay? And I will state my what I want for growth and whatnot as well. Deborah types in my new business to thrive. This is the time to do it. Okay. Winter is the time for planning. Winter is an active action. Okay. We may not physically be as motivate. Well, I shouldn't say motivate, but we're not physically moving as much in the springtime as opposed to the winter, but we're looking ahead. Winter's the season we start looking ahead. I cannot stress that enough. And then spring is when we start putting all that energy outward. Okay. Brand Love says family. Michelle says we're manifesting a stronger home base. Correct. Very nice. I love that. And I say correct, like that's the energy. We're looking for a change. We're looking for shift. Okay. My plan of manifestation and direction is I'm entering a new chapter in my life. And so I have shifts coming up. And this was a choice that was basically forced upon me by the powers that be and whatnot. So I got the signs. If you watch my video from January, I got the signs, I got the omens, and I'm still getting omens to start a new chapter. So that's where I am bringing in on March 20th, 2022 at 3:38 p.m. I begin a new chapter. Ooh. And I need more commitment to studying tarot, Calla Lily. That's easy. That's easy. You know what the key factor is in all of this? Here goes our first candle. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your intentions. I'm probably going to have to close this door. Let me close this door so the wind doesn't blow out the first candle. All righty. It is there goes the jackalope ears. That's the key when it comes to doing this kind of work. We state something aloud, and how devoted you are to your practice and the commitments that you make in growth needs to also go forward into other things. It goes outside of our practice. Okay. Second candle. Pink for friendship. Pink for love. Okay. For making new friends. For starting fresh. Yellow. Yellow rules the solar plexus, so we're looking at creative energy and movement. Yellow is also a color of healing as well as orange, but I want to stick with yellow for this. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Candy. Thank you. We're all in this. We're all starting new things. You know, it's just the direction that all of us are going in. Okay, and then blue. Okay. This is for each and every one of you, the blue, yellow, and pink candle, for all of those who silently set what they want to do at the start of spring and those who have typed it in. These candles are all for you. Blue is of the emotions and listening and following through with those feelings that we have. I can also say blue is of our intuitive side. So with this, with love, friendship, new beginnings, yellow, creativity, healing, blue for our intuitive energy and emotion. It's a lighter color. These are lighter colors. The deeper the shades of the color, the more in depth we are. But here, as we enter the spring season, things are more outward. So the colors are lighter. So with this blue, with this cute little hair here to kind of guide the direction of all this energy of growth and movement, let's stick to it. Let's show people the shifts that we're making and what is very important to us, what inspires us, what our desires are, I wish good luck to Deborah with the new business. Candy, get those plants going. I know you're a natural green thumb. Michelle Marie, stronger home base. I know we've chatted. You know that's going to happen. I'm seeing if I missed anyone else here. And if you feel like typing anything, Cal Lily, with your tarot practice, start simple. Don't feel so overwhelmed with everything that's out there that you see on YouTube or whatnot. Start with what's calling you out the most and then work with that energy. So here we are for a new start. And all the best to us, right? Alrighty. So I pulled some cards, okay? And I'm going to record a separate video for the cards that I pulled here, okay? Now, I do this only during the equinoxes and the solstices. So with our spring equinox and fall equinox and our winter solstice and our summer solstice, I pick 3 sets of cards. Okay, that's why I don't want to do the full reading here. I'd rather do it separate and keep this, keep the conversation here light. So I picked 3 sets of cards, and they represent each month of that season. Okay, so we're still in March, but we're now in the spring season. So I have 3 cards here that I pulled to represent the energy of April, which Aries holds the astrological month for. I have 3 sets of cards here that represent the month of May, and that's the sign of Taurus. And then the other 3 cards I have here, as you can follow, is for the month of Gemini. I'm sorry, for the sign of Gemini in the month of June. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull for April. Okay, so we're not jumping too much ahead. And then the full reading I will do a separate video for, as mentioned. All right, Sadhna, thank you so much. Probably be here for a little bit longer. I'm just keeping this open. Yeah, feel this excitement, you know. It's very important as things get lighter that we get lighter as well. So I'm popping back and forth looking at the comments. So with April, I've changed my decks up. So, well, for April, May, and June, I'm going back to the decks that I've worked with during the spring, summer, and I think it's only the spring and summer, equinox and solstice. And then I believe in the fall, I brought in the Wildwood Tarot because the fall and winter months, that particular deck really, really rang true to me. So I'm working with the Witch's Oracle, and I love this deck. Okay, this is by Sally Morningstar. Some of you know it. Candy, I know you know this deck. I know you have it, and I've commented to you about it. So Witch's Oracle, and then I have the Witch's Wisdom by Phyllis Carrot. And this deck in particular works very well because it works with the elements of fire, air, water, earth, but the energy is very spring and summer like. So that's why I work with the Witch's Wisdom during those times of the seasons. And funny enough, this deck came out on Samhain when it was originally published. It came out, I think, 1 or 2 days before Samhain. And I looked at the deck, and it's like, this doesn't feel so Samhain like. but it's totally fine. It still works. It's a wonderful deck. It deals with nature and the different elemental environments. So I love it very much. So to just go right into the reading. Actually, let me drink some water here before I get started. And everyone's stepping away for a little bit. Does anyone have any questions? Can you let me know how you're doing so far this past week or the past few weeks? Let me know how you're doing. Let me take some sips of water, buy some time while people, Candy looks at the kids, and Satna said that she'll be coming back later on. Well, the way I do these readings here for the Sabbats is I use the Witch's Oracle. And got to put on the... Alrighty. Everyone go and take your 5. As long as you can hear me, it's good. So the way that I do these readings is I've used the Witch's Oracle consistently throughout this time of the year, or when doing the Sabbat readings. So the Oracle sets the premise of the force. Okay, like what's the key thing that needs to be focused on energy-wise? Now, I know it's only 3 cards to represent a month. You could take that with a grain of salt. You can work with those cards in particular, or you can add on to it as well. Okay, people read differently. I could potentially pull one card and say, this is how your month is going to be, depending on the deck and the energy that's coming from that deck and its cards. I can pull out a lot of information. But again, you take that with a grain of salt. Let's see here. We're good researching. Excellent. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. So again, the Oracle card sets the energy, sets the force for that month. And then the 2 cards, which I pull, which is from the Witch's Wisdom, more or less gives a culminative idea, direction. I shouldn't say idea, but direction as to where that energy, that force from that Oracle card is best placed, what direction you can use it in for healing, for abundance, for letting go, for communication, so on and so forth. Oh, you found it, Color Lily. Under $89. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah. Cal Lily, go ahead and put the link in. I haven't been looking for the book at this moment, but I will take a peek at it. It'll probably be gone by the time I'm ready to get it. But if you can share the link, that would be great. Excellent. So again, the 2 cards that I have underneath are following the guidance of that Oracle card. Okay, so first card I got here, okay, again, this is from the Witch's Oracle. And this represents the month of April, or the month of Aries, if you want to read it like that. Okay, so this is Book of Shadows. Okay, so the key word from this deck is experience. And I think this was a wonderful card to come up when doing the draws for the upcoming months of the spring season. Okay. Some of us have grimoires, some of us don't. Some of us have different ways of logging in our journey. And so we can do this Book of Shadows as a means of a commitment. If there are things that you have been writing or putting down, either creatively, literally, or things that you need to put into order, this is where we start putting all of this into action. Some of this, not all of this. Okay. And also, when holding this card, for those of you who do journal, I'm feeling, for those who are very dedicated with their journaling, something's guiding me in the sense to look back at what you've written so far. That's the experience, what you've learned, what you've gained, what you've had to release, and take all of that knowledge, all of that wisdom, and apply it to what you want to have come to you. Right? Sounds kind of easy peasy. Okay. But this is a time of prioritizing. Okay. What is the most important thing? And that's what I was asking those who are watching. Type in on the bottom, what is most important, and remain dedicated to it. Okay. I'm going to check in the summertime when we go into Litha, summer solstice, and see how things have progressed. And if I remember, I'm going to ask the same question. So this is a card of looking back so that we can move forward. Understanding. Reflecting so we can gain a better understanding and knowledge of where we want to go, where we want to place all our goals towards. Be dedicated, okay? Okay, so this is for April. Now, the next two cards I have here, this is from the Witch's Wisdom, is have Three of Earth. Two cards I got here is Earth. For the month of April, because Aries and Taurus, they cusp towards the end of April. But here with the Two of Earth, or I'm sorry, the Three of Earth, okay, we're starting to see a closeness. We're starting to see a trust that's being built with those around us. Another thing I want to point out about the spring season in Ostara is it is a time of building connections with people. Remember what I stated here, the pink candle for love and new friendships? You can use that color for this month, for April. How we connect with each other. Okay. But be soft with this energy. Aries, again, is movement and building a momentum. But as we enter spring, and I discuss this in the readings that I'm posting in the next few days for the month of Aries, all the elemental signs, water, air, earth, fire. Let's ease into spring. Let's not go into that so quickly. Let's not move into it. Let's apply this energy too when it comes to meeting new people, connecting with new people. Okay. Move softly. And also too, I'm also feeling with these two creatures, there looks to be an age difference. One who's older and one who's younger. So I could potentially sense maybe connecting with someone of a different generation. Let's start exchanging information. Let's start listening. This is one thing that a lot of us don't tend to do, especially the younger generations. Don't listen. You got to listen. The peers that are older than you, the generations, they're the future. They've already been in their 20s, 30s. They have experience, maybe not the same as yours, but there's always experience to gain from each other. And that's been a conflict. People don't want to listen. They're set in their ways. So let's see if we can make a connection during this time. Okay. But also to see both sides, not to say that your experience is the way that it is, it's the best, and you're going to flourish from it. We also have to understand the other perspective of the other generation as well. Our second card. Okay, so again, this is for April. So the sun is burning this out. This is Ace of Earth. Okay, so for the month of Aries, or the month of April, okay, we're seeing a lot of grounding energy. Okay, and we got here again the Ace of Earth. Okay, we have this pouch. Look what's coming out of this pouch. Candy, I think this is your bag. If you have a planter that looks like this, that looks like a bag, and you have flowers coming out, oh, I'd love to see that. That would be beautiful. But that's the premise of the Ace of Earth, right? We're moving towards potential. We're putting our time into things that are of value. And spending the time nurturing, caring, pruning. Okay. And this card here, this is how we need to approach all of our future goals. We have to manage it. We have to take care of it. Not like, not just throw it out there and just, hope that something's going to happen from it. You got to put action to make something happen. You got to put care and love into things. That love, especially if it means a lot to you. If it's a book, if it's a house, if it's something creative, you got to do the work. Okay. So it's very interesting for this month of April. Okay, I got 2 earth cards here. So we could take that energy again from Aries, the moving forward, but let's, and the inspiration and our desire, but let's put it more in a grounded, focused manner, to clearly show that we are fully devoted and that we are dedicated to making this change for ourselves. Candy, I'm beginning to know a little bit about you. I know we're around the same age, so I like to see people's creativeness. And I don't know, Candy, do you have this deck? Do you have the Witch's Wisdom? Because if so, then all you need to do is just pull out this card. And you can use this as a guide. So yeah, the month of April looks very, very good. But again, we're looking back. We're going into, for those who journal, looking back and see what we've learned or what there is to learn and to apply it into, what means the most to us. It's very important. Okay. And again, you don't necessarily have to have a book of shadows. If you are keeping tabs of your tarot cards, look back. Your daily pulls, your weekly pulls, look back and see. And Cal Lily, I think this is for you. I think this is the best way that you can start moving towards your tarot practice, is if you are journaling, if you've been keeping tabs of your cards, once you start seeing a pattern or a process starting to build up, that motivates you because you're starting to see that things are moving. And when you do see that, then you're like, wow, this is working. I am making those changes. Okay. But you have to be mindful of it. Okay. Signs and omens. Look at those things that are subtle. There are things that sometimes I miss, and someone points it out to me. It's like, wow, wow. And it really gets me thinking. They see something that I didn't see, you know. And this is only under the premise if I was, speaking about any changes or anything that I've been focusing on. So keep an eye on that, you know. Hi, Joelle. How are you? How Thank you for coming in. Happy Ostara. I don't know where you are. Are you in wait, I think you're in Portugal? Let me know if you are in Portugal. And I think Portugal is in the northern hemisphere. Am I correct with that? Someone help me globally. I think they're in the northern hemisphere. If so, happy spring equinox, happy Ostara. Um, Many blessings to you. Yes, Portugal. Okay. Calla meditation, yoga. I was gonna say yogurt. Um, yeah, there's some people who just can't journal. My neighbor that I was having a walk with, um, she's Libra, and I was asking her, how do you feel about writing? And she said there is something about writing that she doesn't enjoy. She feels she communicates better. She's a teacher. She feels she communicates better through words. And through her words is through education, educating people that way instead of writing and educating people in that sense. And I said, well, we carried on the conversation a little bit more. And I asked her, how about a book? And she said she had entertained the idea a while ago, but she said that she doesn't have anything exciting to share. And she has had quite an interesting journey, I think. She's traveled quite a bit. Um, she is of the Baha'i faith, if some of you know that. So her beliefs are in a different system. She doesn't know, that I read the tarot, or I have a different practice. I kind of keep that to where I feel it's okay to discuss it. But I think she knows I do something different. But she's very open, and I was saying to her, maybe somewhere down the line, writing will come to you. And we talked a little bit more, and she goes, no, I'll never journal. I just know myself. So, I leave it like that. So some people it's just hard. It's just hard for them to journal, to blog. It's just, it takes that time. For me, the challenge is keeping up with social media, you know. Now I'm going to have to do a blog. Not have to, I shouldn't state it like that. Now I will be doing a blog for this reading. So I have to put that on the website, and then I have to share it. Oh, have to. Then I'm going to share it on Instagram. See what I'm saying? You have to catch yourself. You have to listen to what you say. And then I'm going to record it on YouTube. So it's balancing all of this. So I'm making the commitment because I said, and I do my best to stay to my word as much as I can. Let me catch up here. Oh, Baba, are you back? I think the feral is back. Michelle Marie, my cards keep telling me to listen to my husband regarding future housing steps. I tend to bring in a lot of youthful enthusiasm, but he's the wiser one. It's a good reminder. Yeah, when there are difference of opinions, different ages, or anything like that, we have to listen to both sides. And I think when you're in your 20s, sometimes even your 30s, and I know this goes into the later years, even as a full-grown adult, we sometimes still don't listen to almost anything that anybody says these days. because we have a firm belief and we stick to that. So we need to, I feel, in my opinion, we need to change that perspective. Okay. Instead of being separate, we need to be more of that collective energy. And I know people who may watch this later on, they'll probably rolling their eyes and they're like, yeah, whatever. It's, it takes a small group to make a big change, and it takes time. So, if we could work together in that sense, it's, we could start seeing hope and promise. A lot of people don't feel it, especially the last few years. Like, it just seems like whatever they try to do to make a change, it goes back against them. It's like, you got to keep moving forward. Okay. That which makes us weak makes us stronger. That statement says it all. Let's see here. Cal Lily, I'm on it. I want to get stronger with it. Yes, please. Please. All of us who have channels here, we have messages, we have words of guidance that we want to share with people. We have opinions. We have decks that we want to share, so on and so forth. It's not going to resonate with everyone, but if you can just, not follow the trend of certain ways that people do, and just see something different, you may be surprised by, opening that part of your mind. It's like, wow, never thought about that. So we can be biased, and that's almost natural, but at the same time, we need to grow. We need to move out of this. So when people say, oh, I'm always going to be like this, this is how I am, there you go. Like my neighbor, she already knows it. She's older than me, but she already knows her patterns. And maybe somewhere down the line she'll make a change, but it sounds like she's pretty set with how she wants to how she wants to do certain things, and she leans more on the creative side than the writing side. Cal Lily, listening to the way you talk to yourself, the way I talk to myself, it matters so much, and the only person you have to blame for something not going the way that it could have gone or should have gone, is yourself. Sometimes things happen for a reason. Signs and omens. Okay. Look at that video January of this year. Signs and omens. And so I think if it wasn't for all that, I couldn't be where I am at this very minute. So yeah, pay attention to what anybody says. There could be a hidden message there that you may not be aware of. When do you know your guides are speaking to you? You'll feel something. Okay. You'll feel something this is my experience, but what seems to be common is you'll feel something that's out of the ordinary. Okay. Like I said, signs, when something out of the ordinary just comes out of nowhere. It could be a sign from the guide, but in that sense, you'll start seeing things moving in a different direction, and you're like, oh wow. Okay. And then if more of it happens in closer succession, then there's a message coming out there. I've been paying attention a lot more to birds, especially the crows. The crows here, they're not out right now, but I'm beginning to understand their energy a lot more. So you'll know from you'll feel it, and it's like this is it. Okay. And keep track. You can either write down or just mentally, emotionally keep a connection to what's going on. Okay. Patterns is the key. I love whenever something I love whenever something hits me and makes me say, I never thought about that or thought about it that way. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's something that's coming to you, that it's a shift. So if all these shifts are happening like right at this time as we're entering a new season, then more kudos to you, because you're seeing them. I'm going to move here so I could block the box and you could see the candles. Okay. So you'll you'll start seeing these signs. Yeah, Michelle. That was uh that was very bizarre. That was very bizarre. Um the the reference that Michelle Marie is making to my mother's framed photo. Um I had it there, um, on the mantle. In January, up here, we were experiencing a lot of power outages. Again, go back to look at that video, Signs and Omens, that came out the first week of January, or no, maybe a few weeks after. Anyhow, a lot of disturbances were taking place, and trees, lots of wind, broken branches, tree limbs were falling and hitting the top of the house, shaking the house, because sometimes these trunks were really big and they fall on the balcony. So I was asleep on one of these nights when there was a power outage, and I heard a crash. And it was, I don't know if I thought at first if it was broken glass, but it was a louder sound. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. I was thinking maybe one of the tree limbs fell and broke into one of the panes of the balcony door. So I was too tired. I was freezing. I didn't want to get out of bed. It's like I'll wake up and I'll deal with it in the morning. So wake up, still no power. It's like 42 degrees inside here. And as I'm going down the stairs, I get down to like the bottom part here of the stairs, and I look down, and there's a picture of my mother and me when I was a child, that I had up there. And I had a jack-o'-lantern at the base. I don't know if you can see, at the base of the fireplace. Okay. So what happened was, with all those tree limbs and branches falling, one of the bigger branches shaking the house when it fell, um, it caused the walls to tremble, and it knocked over the picture of my mom and me, and it landed right through the jack-o'-lantern. It didn't rip up the picture, but the picture frame fell and landed on the jack-o'-lantern. And I was just like, wow. All the other pictures stayed up, but that one fell. And a few days prior, I had some body work done because I was involved in a fender bender. The woman who was doing work on me was feeling strong feelings that my mom was trying to communicate with me. She says that she was saying to me that your mom is upset that you have not reached out to her. Okay, this is prior. And then a few weeks later, the storm comes and knocks over that picture. Signs and omens. I'm not going to say anything paranormal, but that was a clear sign. So I want to say my mom and I had a wonderful relationship, but I made amends, saying I'm sorry if I felt that I was neglecting her, because I had so much going on. I couldn't even think about anything else. So this house has been very powerful, has a lot of energy, in it. So that's the story. That's the story about the picture frame falling on its own with the help of Mother Nature outside. Let's see here. Michelle, crows are sacred to Saturn. He rules service, our karma, and the elderly and infirm. Not sure what this. Feeding crows is an astrological remedy. Wow. I throw bread out every now and then, whether it's the crows or the blue jays who get it. I think it's the crows. That's probably why they come and they hang out here a little bit more. But I also feel the crows are, besides messengers, they are also a form of protection. So I honor their energy very, very much. But yeah, so here we are. And another thing, too, is to take into consideration, because astrologically we're in the new year in the sign of Aries. Can all of you who watch this, what is your major arcana birth card for this year? Okay, for 2022. There are two ways you can do this. Okay, and the way that you can determine what your archetype card is, major arcana card, is you add up your birth date. So it's the month and the date. I know there's been quite a few videos out there discussing this. I did one a while ago. Your death. Yes. You know that's great, Candy. You add up your month and the date and this current year, 22/2. Okay. Now, the way that I do it is infirm, a person with a physical or mental weakness. Okay. I was thinking maybe it was a sickness, like infirmary, but I wasn't certain. Thank you, Michelle. So if your numbers go past 21, because we have 21 major arcana archetypes, it goes above that, like if it's 22, 23, 24, you reduce those numbers down. Okay, so if you're 24, it's a 6-year. That's going to be the card of the Chariot for 2022. Okay, so you could take that into account. Look at what your birth card of this year is. And you could start it either from January or start it from the time of your birthday. So if your birthday is in July and you are 6, you could start that year of the Chariot from that birth date. So from that birth date of July 1st, and that card of the Chariot will wrap around into the next year of 2023 until your next birthday, and then you move into the next sign. So you could do it. You could start that card on that birth date or at the beginning of the year. In the past years, I've always done it on my birthday. So take that into consideration. Now, I'm just saying this is cards of guidance. And again, when I do my recorded reading, you can use those cards as well in the reading. So again, the reading that I did for April. Okay, this is a Book of Shadows from the Witch's Oracle. So we're looking at experience, looking what we've written in the past, if you will. Leave it in the past, but learn from it. Okay. And then I have the Three of Earth and Ace of Earth. Okay, so a very earthy month. So that's for April. So you can use that reading as an additional guide. Find out what your life path number is. We are in a 6th year. So if your life path number is 6, this is your year. If you are Gemini, okay, Gemini is ruled by the 6th card. Oh, I'm sorry. I got this mixed up. The 6th card is the Lovers, not the Chariot. So when I was talking about the birth date, cross that out. 6th card is for the Lovers. And so you use that energy. So this year, if your birthday's, if you're a Gemini and you're a 6 life path, this is your year. Last year was my year. Last year, well, actually, not my number year, but it was my card year, which was the High Priest, the Hierophant. So do that, find out what your number is. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw anyone off with that. And you can culminate those sources as guidance for whatever you're working towards, what you want to complete by the end of the year. Oh, we got death. Okay. 13. And then the Chariot. That is so weird. It's 8, the Strength card. Okay. It's the same card I pulled last night to work on through some exercises. Yeah. The Strength card is my birth card from last year, 2021 to 2022. So I'm in the last few months of using that strength energy, which seems to have been appropriate from last year to my birth date of this year. And then I am going to move into the Hermit, which is kind of interesting. And I will talk about that, I guess, when I do a video regarding my birthday or something. I'll talk about that energy. Joao, you got the Hermit as well. Yes. Yeah, Michelle, it would be because you would reduce those numbers down. So that's Emperor. We're in the month of Aries, so this month can be very strong for you. You know, a time of creative energy, maybe a more sense of wanting to do things in a greater fashion. So that's a very important card for you. So hold that energy, especially this month for Aries. And also, I know you are Leo, so extra fire energy there as well. But when reducing the numbers down from 10 to 21, some people choose to reduce the 10 and make it a 1. Sometimes they just want to make it the full card. But I feel if there's no need to reduce the numbers, that's your card. Okay, so if you're 18, that's your card. Okay, no need to reduce it down to a 9. You can relate the two cards. You can relate those two energies and see what they produce. And look at the signs that come up with those two cards if you do decide to reduce those numbers between 10 and 21. And that's another way. There's no set rule. I'm just saying what I prefer to do during my birth year. So I have the Hermit coming up, which seems right in line with the energy of what's happened in the past. Yeah, spiritual introspection, but also just that time of just reflecting overall and looking what you want to do ahead, what changes. I have plans, but it's going to take time. And being Taurus, it's going to take time. But the time that I put into it, this is going to be my homework. It has to be dedicated. It can't be thinking and, lollygagging around. It has to remain committed. Okay, so it's almost like be careful what you say. Be careful what you want to put out there in the universe. Okay, and how much you want to have coming back. Okay, it's all about this balance. And we're in the month of Gemini. So Gemini, we are dealing not like Libra energy, but Gemini is dealing with duality. Okay, it's a neutral sign. It holds masculine and feminine energy, but it's working with those two forces. But with Gemini being ruled by Mercury, it's the communication is by balancing those two energy forces of masculine and feminine, of emotions and also of action, physical action, the way we represent ourselves. So that's the Gemini. I almost want to say it's almost like, let's watch our P's and Q's for this year. Okay, because people are watching. You may not think, but people are watching. They watch what you say, your mannerisms, so on and so forth. So just maybe think a little bit more before you say anything or take action. Be a little bit more mindful. Let's see. Yes, Joao, I have been introspective and making plans for the future. A good time for intuition, listening to yourself. Commitment is hard for sure. Yeah, but that's where discipline comes in. Okay. Commitment comes easy if you build a inner rock within yourself. If you've always been good with having structure, look and see where your Saturn is. Saturn is all about how we deal with order and directions and restrictions that we put upon ourselves, and maybe how we put them onto others. So my Saturn's an Earth-ruled planet. My Saturn's in a fire sign. So there's, in a way, that's good because it helps build that control of that fiery energy. And similar to Aquarius is an air sign, so we have all this expansive energy, ideas, and excitement towards goals. But Saturn comes in and puts it more in a direction. So Saturn in a fire sign for me is taking all of that movement, but directing it, in a set path. So it's not running out of control in this direction or this direction. There are times I catch myself where I'm like, oh, I'm going too much in too many different directions, energy-wise. So if I can utilize that Saturnian energy more so to bring that direction in, that would help me so much more. Saturn in Capricorn, calla lily, that's a perfect placement. Okay, but that could be a challenge based on your other signs. It is strong. Capricorn is a sign that deals with work energy and that commitment to work. They are one of the hardest working signs, I feel, of all the 12 signs, but sometimes they overwork themselves because they like the challenge that comes in when it comes to restrictions and deadlines, if your signs are placed properly. Love this. My husband is the world. I'm the emperor. It explains the energy of our teamwork this year. Oh, but it's in the 5th house. Okay. Michelle Marie, you want to tackle that one? Saturn and Capricorn in the 5th house. Okay. So that's, let me see, 1, 2, I have to think backwards. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. Well, let me think about this. I think that could work out good, right, Michelle Marie? If it's in the 5th house, which is ruled by Leo, fire, the house is ruled by fire, conjunct Jupiter. Okay. That should, I don't know. I'm thinking by just what you're typing in there, Cal Lily. That feels like it should be a good placement. It's just that you're going to have to work harder for it. It's like signs that are retrogrades. What I understand is any sign that's retrograde isn't necessarily negative. It doesn't mean like bad things are going to happen to you. Just like whenever a planet's retrograde, it just means that we have to be more mindful. We may have to work things differently to get around those retrogrades, but we could still, be productive. We just have to be a little bit more careful with whatever planet is currently retrograde and what sign it is. Let's see. May have brought some creative challenges, home issues. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Michelle Marie. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Cal Lily. But yeah, Saturn, Saturn is that can be a good shaker, can be an earthquaker, but in a sense that it's telling you, hey, let's get some things put into perspective, and let's work on putting a foundation and building something very solid and committed to. So maybe that's that Saturn and Capricorn. That's probably what's itching you a little bit when it comes to, trying to get things started. Okay, I'm going to keep talking until these candles are all the way down. They've gone down quite a bit. So, I'm catching up here. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, it's pushing you, Cal Lily, and that's what you need. Okay, so that's another thing, Joao. Like I was saying, if you start feeling things, you're asking about how would I know when my guides are talking to me. Again, you'll start feeling. I like the word that Cal Lily typed in. You'll start feeling a push. You'll start feeling like you're being forced into something. No one likes to be forced into something, but in this case, if it's coming from sources that are out of the ordinary, it could be a sign that something needs to be remedied, something needs to be taken care of. So for the month of Aries, as we start the spring season, if anyone is experiencing any of this, they look like cupcakes. Yeah, they do, don't they? If anyone's experiencing a push, okay, don't fight against it, okay? Coming from experience, if you're feeling something's forcing you, okay, like it's an energy, it's all these things that are pointing in a certain direction, go with it. It's like riding that wave in the ocean. It's like, okay, all right, you're this tiny little thing that's in the ocean. You cannot fight that ocean. Go with it. And then you'll start seeing things and directions that you need to change so that that force doesn't become so great. You're maintaining that level. You're maintaining that change. Okay. So welcome change. I have signs in my chart that, interesting enough, shouldn't be embracing change, but somehow I enjoy change, especially when it's needed. So I welcome it. It's a godsend for me. Let's see here. Candy, I wish I understood this like you do. Candy, tell me what you don't understand. Tell me what you don't understand. It's not uncomfortable, but I have to act faster. Yeah, procrastinating, just like, it's like that sore tooth. How long are you going to let it go until it starts, potentially being an overall hazard, to your mouth, or a wound that you're not taking care of? How long are you having to let it go? For me, I think the reason why I state what I state is because as I'm getting older, time is ticking for me. So when my Saturn return happens in a few more years, I don't know. I'll see where things are, and I'll see how I feel about time. I probably want to honor time much more now than I did when I was younger. And Saturn also is part of the whole aspect of time, karma. Allow a single controlled emotion to glide smoothly like a gentle wave. Yeah. Yeah. Don't fight it. Don't fight something that's overpowering you. It's always best just to let it go. The harder you fight, the more you're aware of it, the more painful it is, right? If you're in a physical fight and you're just like trying to get through this situation, physically it's exhausting. It's physically brutal, and it doesn't do any service. One of the two challenges needs to bow down. One of them needs to weaken so it can just move forward. Um, Candy, I realize I don't like change and have held on to things too hard. That's why you're decluttering. Okay? I think you realize that. That's why you're decluttering. Sometimes we could go on years without doing much of any change, and then you get an epiphany, or you hear what someone says, or you get inspired. It's like, I got to do this. I'm sick of this. And you move. I could wait for the foe to come crashing off the mantle, please. No, that wasn't it. There's a lot that happened. But if there was a spirit in here, I know there's energy. And for me, I do decipher something different between energy and spirit. Okay. So spirit for me is like, as I'm talking, if these candles were to start moving on their own, okay, there you go. Energy for me, okay, energy for me is, see, I can't even explain energy. Energy is a force. So I think it's something that you can't see. Energy is something you can't see. Spirit, obviously, if this beautiful hair was to start floating around the room, spirit, not the cat, spirit. But just an energy of feeling comfortable or uncomfortable. Energy is a feeling. Let's see. No, for me, not for you. Okay. Yeah, it's, let's just say this. When those storms were hitting here during the last week of December, I have this massive papa tree, which many of you know about. I'm going to turn this around. Oh, let's see here. Oops. Hello. Hello, beautiful glare. Oh, look at this. Oh, there we go. Now we can see the daylight. Where's the papa tree? I have to move it over here. There we go. Oop. Oh, I can't. This is the papa tree. It goes way above the house. It's about 3 stories. Okay, so if this tree was to break, if this tree here was to break, okay, and close your eyes for a second, people, because I'm just going to move this monitor up. These are my windows. Okay, see, that's the tree. Right there. It keeps going way up. Okay. So if part of that tree fell down, went through the house, it's obvious that I have to leave. Okay. So there are different perspectives that you could take with that. And it's, with parts of that tree breaking down, because the large parts that of the branches and the trunks that fell came from that tree. And the tree needs to be maintained. It needs to be cut and manicured. Actually, I think it fell already. There's a large trunk that when it fell from the upper level, it got caught at the second part of that, the lower part of this papa tree. And so we've had some winds recently, and I think it finally, yeah, I think it finally came down. Yeah, it's not hanging, I think. Anyhow, I think part of it fell down to the ground, but it got caught in the process of falling and it got stuck. And then I think with our winds in the last month or so, it finally moved down. Um, yeah, there's actually, I've seen some houses like interior wise where they've actually built the house around the tree, and the tree is actually going right um, through someone's living room. I mean, aesthetically, that's nice, but it's not healthy for the tree because the tree needs to be out in its environment. So if you have the tree that's in the middle of a living room for aesthetic purposes, like a real tree, it's not getting the full nutrients of of the sun. Maybe they're watering at the bottom when they go outside, but it needs to be out in the elements. So um, I wouldn't recommend building a house around a tree to put it in the living room because I don't think that'll do much service. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one. When this is the first time when I moved in here, it's like, I'm a city slicker. So having a tree this big on a balcony was just like, oh my God. I immediately called it the Papa tree. And I've hugged it a few times. I need to hug it again because when the winds are strong, when we get 20, 30-mile-an-hour gusts, I see this tree from my bedroom moving. And it's just like, wow. Because you got to think about it. This is a multi-level story tree. So its weight, right? Its weight is feeling the intensity, of the wind, so it's very strong, you know, the winds when it connects with the tree. Um, oh, thank you, Michelle. Your number, Emperor 4. Um, let's see, Cal Lily, understanding the planets, houses, conjunct retrogrades. It's, I don't want to say it's easy, but because when I started tarot candy, um, I just knew about the signs. Okay. And I knew a little bit about the planets like Venus um, is about love, Mercury's about communication, Jupiter is about luck and abundance. But when I started the tarot, my practice was more involved around the tarot. And I didn't want to do astrology. I've mentioned this in previous videos. Astrology is its own science, as Michelle Marie knows. But the thing that's wonderful with astrology is because of my tarot practice, there are so many different avenues that you could take astrology in with the tarot. You could relate it to the major arcana, the minor arcana. Astrology comes in with the minor arcana through the decans. Okay, and I don't want to go into that, but I have a playlist that talks about the decans in relation to the cards, the suits, the planets, and the signs. And when you repeat it over and over again and you're studying these cards, you remember. It's a lot of cards. There's 36 decans to represent the full cycle of a decan year. So sometimes I have to stop. Like right now, we're entering our second decan of wands. So it's the two of wands. I'm sorry, the first decan, 0 to 10 degrees, the two of wands. Okay, so that represents our beginning cycle of the first decan. And that usually is from now, March 20th to I think probably the 28th, 29th. It's like 8 to 10 days. And then after that, the second decan usually represents the first week of that astrological month. And I feel the second decan, this is just my personal opinion, I feel the second decans truly represent that sign for that month. So like the second decan, I feel true Aries are Aries that are born during that second decan. True Tauruses are that second decan, and it's usually that first week of that month. So first week of April, first week of May, first week of June, so on and so forth, represents, I feel, the true essence of those signs. Thank you, Cal Lily. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. There is something white flying behind you. You just saw it for the third time. I think it's dust. I think it's dust. It's interesting because I've had some people when I do my lives say that they see something, and it could be the lighting too, as the light refracts dust and stuff. Yeah, I have like there's a piece of hair. But if it starts morphing into something, please let me know so that I can move. If whatever you saw is moving. It's small and moves quick. Okay. But like I said, I don't feel I have that kind of, I feel like I don't have those kinds of spirits. I don't see orbs. It's energy, complete energy that I connect with here. Okay. Yeah, totally fine. No, I appreciate it. Again, if anyone sees anything, let me know. Because, I mean, I could sort of see, but I'm focusing on speaking to you. So let's see here. I started these candles, let's see, about an hour and 37 minutes. So I think they're going to start burning out soon. So for those who missed earlier, okay, I asked everyone, and feel free to do so. If not, you could keep it to yourself. Feel free to welcome in the spring equinox by making a commitment to yourself, and make that commitment in such a way that you will honor it and that you will remain dedicated to it, starting from the spring season. Okay. And then if I remember in the summer, when I do the summer solstice Litha live episode for the Witch's Sabbat, I want to reflect back. And I'm not here to test you, because if you don't do it, that's totally fine. There's no judgment. But if you have made if you made a clear commitment, I'd like to hear how some changes have started to manifest for you, if anything. So I know things take time, but I'll bring that up come the summer solstice, which will be, and I don't have my calendar here, I believe it's going to be this year, June 20th or the 21st. It's one of the two. So these candles I lit probably about 40 minutes ago, maybe a little bit more. To those who wrote in the chat their intentions, what means the most to them this year, and what they want to do to bring these things bring those things to them. See, I told you it was dust. All righty. Okay, so I think I'm going to start wrapping it up. If you have your tarot deck with you, okay, now my nose is all red. I want to reflect on these two cards, okay? So this represents the month of April, the energy of Aries. Thank you, Brianne. Thank you, Michelle. Pull out that Ace of Earth and Three of Earth, okay? Whatever deck. I know some people are starting to bring out their spring decks. This is definitely going to be one of them. The Witch's Wisdom, just because of the energy and it working with the four elements in a very landscape environment. Bring out those two cards. Okay, and that's energy that you can use and focus on for the month of Aries, the month of April. Okay, and then as I mentioned, I'll see if I have time to do it tonight, or if not this week. I will record this reading and give a breakdown of each of these cards. Okay, I may deviate from the original interpretation that I have, but pretty much will do my best to stick to it. And then I will show you the cards for the month of Taurus, which is May, and the 3 cards that I pulled for the month of Gemini, which is for the sign of Gemini for the month of June. Okay, and I'll tie those 9 cards together, okay, for how they represent each of those months and how they can connect overall as a whole for the spring equinox. Okay, so let me see what else I have. So I've already done the readings for the month of Aries, I mentioned earlier. So I already have up the fire signs. Take a look at that video. I have them time-stamped. I have to time-stamp the last one that I did for Aries, or for the air sign. So I have fire. Those are up. And I think tomorrow, Taurus, the readings for the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn will be up. Take a look at those. Whatever element your sign is placed in, that's how I'm doing these readings. So they're group readings. And then, so that's fire, earth, air. Okay, so that'll be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And then, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then our fire signs for Leo, Sagittarius. No, I'm sorry. Water signs after Gemini. See what happens when you talk about different kinds of astrology and the tarot. So after Gemini, after the air signs, I'm going to do the water readings. My apologies for that. So it'll be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And then our air signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay. So those will be out in the coming days. Take a look at that. Any questions, feel free. Yes. Thank you, Kala Lily. Any questions you have about those readings, let me know. I have my website. I'm available to do readings for you online. Take a look at the readings that I have available. I have a Witch's Wheel of the Year and Astrology Year of the Wheel of the Year readings. This is definitely a sign that I need to stop. Readings available, so take a look at that. And I have a description of how all those readings work and other kinds of readings. So I'm happy to do that for you. I enjoy doing tarot readings so much. So take a look at that. I'm on Instagram, here on YouTube, and I'm trying to have a special guest this week. Okay, I have quite a bit happening with me right now, and I want to try and have this take place this Wednesday. So I want to stay true to my word. So if I can make this happen, hit the notification button, let people know about this channel, and I will share the post if I can set it up for this week. I'm leaning more on Wednesday, and come by and take a look at it. I don't want to say who it is just yet, but it is a creator of one of the decks that I have. So I'm going to try it for that. And then let's see, and then I think the following week, I'm going to probably do live readings next week, or like next weekend. And then the following week, I'm going to make a special video showing you an update on what's going on. And then we're going to take it from there. All right. So that's what I have planned, little bits and pieces here. So watch these videos. Any questions, I'm more than happy to help out. I enjoy this so much. My content is unedited, so I will not edit any of these videos. You get me how I am. You get me with my tongue twisted. You get me with the crazy hair. You You get me doing this. If I see something fall in front, it is how it is. I want people to see how I am, unedited, so on and so forth. Because when I read in person, this is who you're going to get, more or less. Brianne Love, I watched the Aries last night. Thank you, Amy, for all. My husband was an Aries. And okay, I know Aries because I have Aries in my chart. So if I was to have a second sign, it would definitely be Aries. So I feel I know Aries pretty well. And we, knowing when to hold back, and, you can sometimes push their buttons with my sign, but we have complementary planets, Venus and Mars. So I think that's the attraction to a lot of Aries with me, because of the Venus that I have that rules my sun sign. Okay. All right. Thank you, Cal Lily. Yeah. It's, sometimes people like this, and there's different ways that people have approaches to doing their videos, and this will change, as time goes on. And I expand on subject matter. Subjects will be changing as I change. So there may be a point where I'm focusing more on a certain aspect of the tarot or a certain aspect of my metaphysical practice. So that will come up when it does. I also have decan readings. I did like a decan, 36 decan reading for the year, and I ended it last August. So I did an entire decan year from March to September. And is that correct? March of the previous year to September of the following year, where I did a breakdown for each month, astrological month. I did 3 decans. So that's in the playlist as well. Feel free to scroll through it. Okay. Everyone have a wonderful Ostara and Spring Equinox. Remember, stay true to any commitments that you've made, that you have a really strong desire for. Fulfill it the best way that you can. And that inspires people. That inspires people to see that you remained true to your actions, to your words, and that you are making those steps to completion and to make that change. So it's very important. Okay. And that shows qualities of who you are within and without. Okay, walk those dogs, Michelle Marie. I hope to see you all very soon. And again, watch out for posts if I can pull this live off on Wednesday. Okay. Thank you again for joining me. I beat the candles. I'm going to still let them. Oh, they are almost done. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. This was our pink candle. You can't see. This is pink inside. So for love, new friendships, new meetings. This is yellow. Try not to burn my finger off. Yellow for creativity, inspiration, also for healing. And then lastly, our blue for intuition, emotions, but being steadfast with them, not to let them rock too much, not to let them be still, to keep management of these emotional forces that we have, and maintain our intuition. We have to take care of that as well. Okay. All right. See you all soon. Bunnies wish you all the best. All righty. Have a good night and good day, everyone.